and welcome to a new video in which I'll present you the whole current set of the Chilean peso. I guess a long time ago I already made a video with those two lower denominations, and also I have the paper 1000. But yeah, for this time now I can present you just the whole set. And this Chilean peso is already in circulation since 1975. Before that, they had a currency reform, devaluating it 1000 to 1. And before that, it was called escudo. And before that, 1960, before there was another currency reform, they also called it peso. And in comparison, for example, to Brazil and Argentina, the Chilean peso was more stable. Although actually in the last 10 years it lost significant value, and now like $1 is about 1000 pesos, so it definitely devalued as well. And the this series was introduced in about 2010, and it was basically unified in its design, but all those people you see here on those notes, they already existed on the previous designs, older designs, although they introduced the higher notes, step by step. And yeah, but this guy is already on the previous 1000 since the 70s, basically. Yeah, and since 2010 you have this unified, modernized design. And yeah, interestingly also it's this mix of polymer notes and paper notes. And yeah, so this guy is he's a military hero of actually not the Independence War, but the later Pacific War, which happened in like the 1880s, 70s, 80s. And yeah, he's seen as a national hero. And well, on the back already you can see the theme on all of those notes, which is landscapes, different scenes, each one corresponding to a national park in one of the parts of Chile. But of course Chile is huge, like from the north to south. So this one is probably more to the northern part because there's llamas, so might be closer to Peru. Yes, so the guy on the 1000 also, he's a military guy, but from the War of Independence, so in the early 19th century. Yes. And there's another national park. Of course, the date you can see, it's not the first series, it's a bit later. Yes, and in general, the state of the polymer notes, like the security feature, they are more from like, around this type, 2010. Since then, they became more sophisticated. And yeah, I will show you a bit more sophisticated, more modernized polymer version of notes from Costa Rica. I guess I'll do a video next week. Yes, and so this is the only woman on the Chilean peso notes, and she was an intellectual, you can say, like a writer, poet, but also she was involved with diplomacy and things like this. And yeah, and she's a more modern figure from the yeah, also until the 20th century. Yes, here another central park with not a national park with yeah, it's called La Campagna. I have no idea about Chile, like about the exact like zones, like where this would be. Who knows? Maybe somewhere in the middle. And then on the 10,000 note, which is a paper note, um, you have another military guy who was also a hero of this Pacific War, and but he was actually a naval commander, and he was killed in some famous battle, and of course those features also there more from like 2010s. Since then, also the security strands became more sophisticated. Yes, and here on the back, okay, well, this one is very obvious. This is Tierra del Fuego. This is in the most southern part of Chile, which is like close to Antarctica, even. And there's a glacier in the Condor. Yes, and on the 20,000, the highest note, which now only is about $20, um, we have Andres Bello, and actually he's from Venezuela. He was born in Venezuela and spent even most of his life there, and then only later he came to Chile, like in the 1830s. From then he had a longer life, and yeah, he was also he was more like an intellectual, and yeah, but so he was yeah, basically involved in very important, like since the whole independence movements, which were all around the beginning of the 19th century. um, Already he was involved there, and well, they're all kind of connected, especially Simon Bolivar. He was involved in many different countries and their independent wars, and yeah, they all took place around this time, and yeah, but he was more on the intellectual side of it, and in Chile he had some government posts, and then he was like the leader of a university in Santiago, I guess. Yes. Otherwise, this note, yeah, it has the same type of features, just a different color scheme. And on the back, this is a landscape which is in the north, near, yeah, and I think it shows something like where they have those salt deserts, salt lakes. Yes. Anyways, so this is the set of the current Chilean pesos, and yeah, quite nice. Maybe they will update it similar to Costa Rica, and they make all of them polymer and kind of improve a bit, like make them more sophisticated. I will show you next week Costa Rican colones, which yeah, are more modernized version of yeah, and also in Costa Rica they had the lower denomination. Actually, it was only the 1000 colons note which was polymer, and the other ones they were just paper. But yeah, let's see you next week.